Hi, everybody. I'm David Paparelli, co-founder of M-Cultivo, and welcome back to the Cupping Table podcast, where the best coffee producers and buyers share their stories, insights, and outlook on the specialty coffee space. My guest today is a fourth-generation coffee producer in Copey, Costa Rica. Monte Copey Coffee was founded by the Navarro family and has since become one of the best coffees in the world. Since 2009, Monte Copey has focused on specialty coffee through their micro mill operation. Welcome, Enrique, to the podcast.
Thank you. Hello to everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, so question first. I start these podcasts with the same question, Enrique, but what's your favorite cup of coffee that you've had recently?
Oof, good question. I really like the coffee that is very clear in cup with a very clean aftertaste. And I have one special coffee that I have at my farm that is a yellow bourbon that is just elegant and you can you want to keep drinking every day.
What's so special? I mean, is that unusual for Costa Rica to have a yellow bourbon? What's so unusual or clean about that cup?
So it's because in the aftertaste, this coffee has a very floral and but not in the jasmine way, but like a bergamot, and it's not easy to find. And is kind of exotic profile. Yeah.
What varieties do you grow on your farm?
Okay, we have many. So we mainly produce Caturra and Catuai. Is about 60% of the harvest. And at the same time, we have been implementing other varieties, some varieties that we found in our farm, like the yellow bourbon, the red bourbon, and also the Típica. It's because when my father got this farm, he found a very loud coffee trees, and he didn't cut, just renovate, and we found Típica and Bourbon, and we start to reply at the farm. At the same time that we had been selecting a seed from uh, other terroirs like Geisha, SL28, San Roque, also, um, Gush Gush, many exotic varieties
And
that
are
we are
you
trying to.
importing? How do you get access to those exotic varieties? Because those aren't native to Costa Rica, right? Where are you getting those from?
Okay, a good question. So in Costa Rica, we have an institute research that is located here in Costa Rica that they have a seed bank. It's just for preservation of the um, species. And they have many coffee varieties, and they can to share to the people that want to try or research. At the same time that, you know, we have get seeds from other countries like Colombia, also Ethiopia and Kenya, from people that have traveled and just pick some seeds. And yeah.
Yeah, so seed bank in Costa Rica. So you didn't go out and have to get those seeds personally. You have a seed bank and an R&D facility in Costa Rica that produces those.
Yes, we hopefully have this institute that is called Katie, uh, that they are able to share the seeds, and they have many. It's about 3,000
Wow.
different kinds of varieties, and they say that we have not found more than the 10% of the total.
Wow. Yeah.
And maybe in the future we're going to find, uh, you know, more complex varieties, but I, it's good to know that, that we have many chance to keep exploring and researching new varieties.
Absolutely, yeah. Is there
Yeah.
anything that you've planted recently that you're really excited about? What do you think the next kind of big trend in varieties will be?
Okay, so we I have select a very specific line of geisha that I am very hopeful about it, but at the same time, um, we have been implementing the gush gush that also we know that has has the potential. We are just trying it at the terroir that we have. Um, you know, to the future, what I love to do is kind of hybrids from exotic varieties, not just to find a good volume of production or diseases resistance, but um, good quality. It's what I think I will be doing in the next 10 years.
Yeah, and if you I guess so much of what I've heard from other coffee producers is that a lot of a lot of the innovation that occurs around varieties, around processing methods, happens very much in community. I know you've worked with exclusive coffees for a long time now,
Yeah,
and the goal is to kind of establish a community of coffee producers.
sure.
How much of that is Monte Copey wants to try whoosh whoosh or try this new varietal of geisha on their farm, and it versus how much has been tried by their producers and you're sort of kind of borrowing or learning to kind of influence what you do in your micro mill in your farm.
Yes, I think it's not just implementing a variety because all the farm managing that you have at your farm, the nutrition, all the farm practices that you have to produce at your farm, but also uh, making the process, in order to improve that quality, how you can to mark the difference.
Yeah, so there's only so much you can learn, I guess,
Yeah.
from people telling you something. You have to implement it. You have to work on the farm every day, manage the farm appropriately every day, and you have to be involved in the processing at a deep level to actually learn these kind of finer points. The devil's in the details, sort of thing. Is that what
Yeah.
your experience has been?
Yes, yes. As you say, at the same time, sharing with other producer and what are they doing, what I am doing at my farm is how we can to build a good knowledge to get to know what variety is going to be or to develop better in your farm. But yeah, for example, the platform of Cup of Excellence is an example where you can to get in touch with many producers in Costa Rica and also many regions, coffee regions in Costa Rica, and is how you can keep seeing how the industry is moving. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um, And I think it's really, I think Costa Rica has an incredibbly interesting history in coffee. Monte Copey has been part of almost this, well, it's not even almost, it's been part of this new wave of coffee in Costa Rica, right? Where, there's this micro mill, I've heard it described as this micro
Yep.
mill revolution, right? Where prior to those moments, you had specialty coffee, you had excellent coffee from from Tarrazú, from, well, every region of Costa Rica, but it was more cooperative oriented.
Yeah.
Uh, walk 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 us through that history a little bit. The move from the transition from cooperative structures in Costa Rica being the primary vehicle for producing and exporting coffee to now micro mills and specialty luxury class coffee being more prominent.
Yes. So we was very earlier in the micromill revolution. So, for example, there was not a lot of micromills in Costa Rica, and when you was trying to implement one a micromill, you has not many people to ask how you can do it, right? So at the same time that because the coffee production was conventional and my family was delivering it to the co-op or other company, we was not involved in coffee processing, and yeah, we had to start to learn about how to produce specialty coffee, to learn about the the um, the potential of your terroir, the varieties that you have, and then also we have to the we have to make that very you know many quality control in order to start to find the best way to process our coffee, and with the little by little we start to understand how to process the specialty coffee, to learn about it. So one fact is, for example, when we start to process coffee, we just have a very little machine, almost manual. Was a very handcraft process, and many people was saying like that family are crazy. uh, is that's not easy to produce a specialty and also to sell. Is better to just deliver to other company. But we had the vision of we have the potential of the farm, and the market of micro lots was in the beginning, and we had a very clear vision of we can to produce our coffee in that way and try to sell to that market. And yeah, uh, the first harvest, because of we have not many machine and equipment, uh, all the coffee was in the honey way, was processing honey, because of we was not able to wash, but many people like it. uh, people from other countries that taste our coffee like it, and we didn't know that we was processing the coffee as honey process, but hopefully, hopefully we uh, found a good process, and our coffee start to get a profile very characteristic of our farm. At the same time that because the high temperature during the night, we was not able to process the coffee the same day, and we start to leave the cherries for one night before to process, and it's why we found the reposado process, and the cup became more fruity, like red fruits. And yeah, it's a profile that our coffee buyers get to know our coffee from
And
Monte Copey.
so you still use that process today, and the idea is that you're picking cherry off the trees, you're letting it rest overnight as cherry, and then you're processing it into honey, right? So you're leaving some mucilage on that and letting it dry in honey state, and then
Yeah,
that's the reposado what do you call that process?
we call reposado, right? Um, yes, we was one of the first farmers doing this process, but was because of the the we was not planning to do it. Just the it was a consequence of other factors in our farm, like uh, not enough water to wash the coffee, and yeah.
Yeah, and not enough labor to kind of do everything, right? You might need to let the coffee rest a little bit. Did you, so you guys were one of the first micro mills in Costa Rica? You weren't were you the first micro mill in Costa Rica?
So we was not the first, but when we started in 2009, um, there was just a little bit amount of micro mills. Yeah,
Yeah, and now so there were would you say less than 10 in 2009?
yeah.
Something like that, and how many micro mills are there now in Costa Rica?
Okay, right now you can count more than 100. I
More
think
than 100.
150. Yeah.
And when you started working as well, how many cooperatives were there in Costa Rica in coffee?
Oof, and not too much people, you know, uh, I guess 10, 15. Yeah,
10, 15 cooperatives?
yeah.
When in 2009, there was 10 to 15?
So even less because um, the cooperatives in Costa Rica are big, are very big.
Yeah.
And for example, in Tarasu, we had just two. And yeah,
And how many yeah, how many cooperatives are all those still in existence? Those cooperatives today?
oof, I guess 8. Yeah,
8. So there's maybe half the cooperatives there were when you started, and micro mills have 10x'd in number in Costa Rica. And
for sure.
so and is there more volume now produced by micro mills than there are cooperatives?
Not yet, but now is an important volume. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so
It's
it
not.
really is. It's really more of just a different class of coffee. So you have cooperative coffee that's more commercial and volume oriented. Is that right?
For sure.
And then micro
See,
mill coffee that is more kind of, high specialty luxury coffee.
yes, the micro mill is not in the C market. Yeah, this
Right.
micro lot. Yeah.
Did you know in 2009 when you guys started doing this, was this your vision that this would occur? Because we're 15 years later. Did you think that Costa Rica would look the way it looks today in coffee? Did you guys have an idea on that?
So Costa Rica, um, from around the world, when you are when you heard about Costa Rican coffee, um, the people has the concept of good quality. But because of diseases and and other factors like climate change, many producer has to be moving the production to other varieties. And I think we have been losing that concept of good quality. But in the specialty is um, is is bring, or the specialty coffee, or the specialty production in Costa Rica is like representing the quality right now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I've heard this with other countries, but it's the opposite, where the country doesn't necessarily have a great brand of coffee, But the producers have to individually create their own brand and
Hmm.
quality and stand out on their own.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that, for example, this sort of happened in Kona in Hawaii? It sounds similar, right? Where Kona Coffee had a great brand, great quality, sold all over the
Yeah.
world, and then specialty coffee takes off, and then Kona becomes sort of old specialty. It feels like Costa Rica as a country, as a brand, became this idea of kind of past specialty. Oh yeah, they started specialty, they did all this. Are you finding at Monte Copey that you're having to kind of create your own brand to stand out, kind of beyond just, we're not just Costa Rica coffee, but we are Monte Copey. We're one of the best producers in the world. Or are you finding that, hey, we need to win back the Costa Rica brand that is quality coffee?
No, I know that there are many producer, many farms from around the world, not just in Costa Rica, that they are doing a really good job in order to, you know, the the position that to their farms uh, at the time that the quality and how that producer are presenting and making the marketing of the farms, because you can be doing a very good job at your farm, at your mill, uh, getting the best quality as you can. But if you don't have the platform or the way to um, present your coffee, uh, you know, it's like, uh, you know what I mean? You have to be able to uh, um, increase your quality, but at the same time, you have to show to the world. You have to be able to uh, present to the world and to say, what are you doing? How are you doing? And also that you have the vision to improve every year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was interesting the way that you talk about your coffee, the way that you um market it, right? Is part of this where, you can produce the best coffee in the world, but you need people need to taste it, and they need to
Yeah.
understand, elements of what makes it so unique. And in the past, it was, this is Costa Rican coffee, right? And then it was, well, this is Terrazoo coffee. This is Terrazoo Costa Rican
Yeah.
coffee. And now it feels like it's more, this is Monte Copey's coffee, right? And I'd be curious if that sort of lineage still holds, where you say, okay, well, we're Costa Rican first, we're Terrazoo second, and then we're Monte Copey third, or we're Dota Valley third, and then we're Monte Copey, right? Is all of that still important, or is it really just, we're Monte Copey, and we're going to tell you about our micro mill and our operation and what we do that's unique? How do you guys, you know, talk to customers about that or market that coffee?
Yes. So, um, it's a lot of work because all the things that you do at your farm to keep the soil in good condition, to keep the coffee trees in good condition, to produce a better quality that you have. And also, you have to make a lot of quality control to get to know what are you doing and how can to uh, keeping doing the things that are working and avoid other things that are not helping uh, to improve the quality. So, for example, a platform like Cap for Excellence is also a way to, you know, to to present your farm as a farm that is doing things in order to quality, to specialty, and yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have to find ways to differentiate yourself amongst Costa Rican producers. Do you find yourself competing with other Costa Rican producers? Or are you competing with other producers around the world?
I think now from around the world, because as I told you before, there are many farms in other sides of the world that are doing a really good job of not just producing quality but also uh, show, showing the quality that they have to the world. And it's why we have to be able, not just to produce the best coffee, but also to share to the world. Because in the end of the day, when I am working every day to produce the best cup of coffee as possible, um, I know that this coffee is going to be in front of many customers, and they are going to feel that quality, and and the coffee is the best marketing. Your quality is the best marketing that you can uh, do to your farm.
Did you all did you all I guess I'll ask it this way. In this expansion of micro mills, right? You must have had a lot of coffee producers ask your advice when they were building their own micro mill. What do I do? How important is that marketing? How would you weight those components? How important is the quality of the coffee versus the production of the coffee versus the marketing of the coffee, or sales and marketing efforts of the coffee in building a successful micro mill operation in Costa Rica?
So because it is a specialty coffee, so specialty has to uh, be or has to bring a face, a identity, and it's why it's really important. Because, for example, I have heard from my coffee buyers in Japan that their customers are coming to their coffee shops to ask to the Enrique's coffee, you know, uh, not even not the farm or the Costa Rican. Uh, they can to feel close when they feel closer when when they see the face of the farmer and the name, and is how they feel that I am getting some kind of connection with the farmer. And it's because it's a specialty in the sea market of or commercial coffee. uh, you can do that, right?
How do you how do you create those kinds of connections? Is there a way to is there a way to do that intentionally?
mm, Not really, but because the new era of communication, the that many people has access to a computer or cell phone with social media, um, and it's how uh, the coffee customers um, can to make that connection with farmers. And but at the same time, the main job is from the roasteries or micro roasteries, because when they buy a micro lot, we have to be able to share everything we do to produce this coffee, and they are able to promote, to share this information with the customers. And it's how we create an connection. And very important is because of we have many long-term relationship with customers. It's how little by little that connection is growing. I can to say that when we started in 2009, we got some coffee buyers, and we are been working with them since now. You know, a very long relationship, and it's how that connection is growing every year, and it how the coffee customers are coming to the coffee shops to ask for the coffee of Enrique. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's consistency, working year over year. And I hadn't thought about it that way. I mean, especially with C market prices going up to $4 last year, right? You had a lot of coffee producers considering leaving current relationships to sell coffee at higher prices to other relationships, right? Because their current relationships, they might have had fixed price contracts, they might have had long-term agreements, and there was a debate on, okay, do I sell my coffee at less than C market prices in some instances to just continue working with a buyer that I've had for a long time, or do I go find new buyers and get higher prices? But I hadn't thought about what you just said, which is there is a doing business with a single roaster over a really long period of time. You're actually doing businesses with all of their customers. Their customers that are drinking your coffee get to know you, get to know your coffee, and there's value in that network. Um, I guess
Yeah.
my question on that would be is are you able to really capture any of that value? Or does the price stay the same for you no matter what? And then, it's just nice that customers enjoy your product, which is saying something. I mean, that is a great thing. But is there any way to kind of capture more value in the market because customers and drinkers of coffee know who you are?
So the main value that we get with this kind of connection is the feeling of, you know, grateful, because when you are every day trying to produce coffee, and because of many other things that you have to uh, you have to keep checking, and you know it's not easy to keep in the production, and sometimes you get the inspiration in these customers, getting to know that there are many people drinking your coffee and enjoying your coffee, and every year asking for your coffee. Is that this is the value than you get, that somebody is recognizing your job, and when your coffee is good, they tell you, this harvest is going well. I really enjoy your coffee. And this is the kind of things that you get, and it's not um, money necessary, right? Is the feeling of a good job. It's the feeling of keep doing. You're doing well. The people are enjoying your coffee, and it's because of the other things around a cup of coffee is uh, where we found the inspiration to keep, and to build a legacy.
Mm, that's beautiful. And you're fourth generation coffee producer, as is said in the intro. What are you going to What is different about your approach to coffee than your father, your grandfather, and your great grandfather? What do you feel that you're bringing that's new to coffee, and what's your vision for coffee for your generation?
Yeah, I think it's a compliment, right? Because eh, I learned a lot of things from my father. Uh, for example, the vision that you have to have a clear vision about where do you want to see your farm in the future, right? And also, the feeling of innovation that you can put in your farm, um, is uh, that kind that marks the difference, but also implementing new technologies on your farm, like weather station and sensors in your farm to keep checking the soil and the coffee trees. So I was industrial engineer, and I have my background is about quality control data, and it's how I can be implementing, you know, like a system of data and quality control in order to see how is your farm going, how to see all the data you can check every year, and yeah, the also the ability to design new processing methods. And I am always very excited to try new processing, and yeah, is how we can to make the difference.
Was your dad as excited about, putting technology on the farm, all the sensors, innovation on processing methods? What were the things that your dad was really passionate about or excited about that you kind of are carrying forward um, to how you produce coffee?
Okay, so for example, when I was at the high school, I didn't know that I will be someday. I will be producing coffee someday because my father was conventional producer, and because of low prices and crisis in the market, he was always telling to me and my brothers, like, you have to get a career. You I don't recommend you to keep in the coffee production because it's not easy. I will make all the possible to uh, pay your college, but yeah, when we start to get to know about the specialty, I start to feel like a motivation to keep in the coffee industry, and is how the feeling of to keep in the coffee production, born. And yeah, um, we was working um, hand in hand. He was at the coffee farm, me at the micro mill. And yeah, 3 years ago, he passed away. And I had to start to, manage also the production. Uh, but, implementing all the knowledge that I got from him, and also to the all the research and the innovation that I can uh, do at the farm in order to even increase the conditions of the farm. But yeah, I just had a vision when I decided to keep in the coffee production, that okay, for many years the coffee industry in Costa Rica has been going in a way. If I produce coffee, I have to make the difference in a. I have to change something in order to mark the difference, and not just keep doing the same for many years. And it's why I have that vision of innovation to keep doing, to keep improving, yeah, experimenting. Yeah,
And this, yeah, and on that note, you're doing your first auction this year for Monte Copey,
yeah,
right? And this, people use auctions as a opportunity to innovate, to show what they can do in terms of quality to the world.
yeah.
Um, why are you guys doing an auction this year? Why now?
Okay, so because of we have to make that lot of experimentation in order to to keep the improving of the quality. In the end of the harvest, we found in front of a lot of samples uh, uh, with really good quality, but was not able to sell before because of the volume of that
Mm,
lot.
too
But to
small.
this year, because of we found a really good quality, we decided to share to the world, and we decided to use a platform like an action, not just to share this a quality that we have been producing, but also to show to the world what are we doing, the things that we are improving in our farms, uh, processing methods and other things that we are able to be in the high quality production also, and to also to represent the Costa Rican coffee in the specialty like nanolots. Yeah.
What coffees in the auction are you most excited about and why?
Okay. So I think the first the lot number one, because of is the first coffee beans from a new farm that we have been developing with the geisha variety, and also we implement a new method to process where we are using a dark room with a temperature control, and we are making the reposado of this coffee and then to dry in this dark room. So the profile is very, it's a clean cup. You can feel a lot of fruits, like red fruits, but at the same time, then the end of the aftertaste is sweeter. Is very sweet, and yeah, this farm is in a very high altitude, 2,050 meters, and it's why we are very excited. We got the first harvest, and why not to put at the first auction of Monte Copey?
Amazing. Yeah, and you've never done darkroom processing before? This is a first trial for you?
This is the first year. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Where'd you get the idea to do darkroom?
Oof. Because of during the past years. Me acomoda la luz, porfa. Sorry about it. Yeah. In the quality control, I I get to know that the drying process is one of the facts that really impacts to the quality. And
Okay.
we have been controlling the drying process with shade and also African beds. But when you wanna improve this process of drying, it was when we found the idea of the dark room, because we know how important is the drying process in order to improve the quality or preserve the quality of the coffee.
Mm, yeah. And darkroom, where that's other Costa Ricans are have darkroom process. Did you learn it from somebody else or did you get it from another country?
No, I really don't know any dark room in Costa Rica. Maybe I am wrong, but I don't know any. I think we are first, and we are still experimenting. We are still, controlling all the uh, things that you can. The last year we got, I mean, this harvest, we got a really good result, and we are more excited to the next year because of, little by little we're getting to understand how it works and how we can to fix to keep improving this process. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's and just so people understand what this is, right? This is literally a dark room with African raised beds, so raised
Yeah.
coffee beds, and then climate controlled. So you're controlling for temperature and humidity in the room. Is that the
Yeah.
process? And and
Yes.
you're implementing
Yes.
reposado in that, so the cherries are going in, drying overnight, they're coming out, you're then taking it down to mucilage, and then you're doing a honey process in the dark room to finish drying.
For sure. For sure. You are able to make the reposado that is a kind of fermentation, but not enough to produce like winey flavors or vinegar,
Yeah,
just to increase the sweetness because of you can to control the temperature. And but I have something clear that in the dark room you can to preserve the quality. What I mean, you have to bring from the farm the best coffee cherries, the best quality as you can to preserve at the dark room, but you can make the quality at the dark room.
yeah. It preserves the quality, it maybe amplifies elements of the coffee, but you can't produce quality in the dark room, right?
For
And
sure.
yeah, that seems to be so true. What variety are you finding does best in the dark room? What's your number one lot variety this year?
So mainly geisha, but also bourbon and yellow bourbon. Yeah.
Okay. Amazing. So yeah, so geisha dark room
Yeah.
process coffee, and then are all your auction lots dark room? No. Do you have any other processing methods you're innovating with?
Um. So
No,
yeah.
there's
Yes.
there's some shade, but a lot of dark room coffees, like a
Yeah.
lot of dark room. You're going all in on dark room processing.
Yes. Because we have a natural dark room, we have reposado dark room, we have wash dark room, also honey dark room, and yeah, it's why.
Yeah. Amazing. Well, very, very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm excited for this auction. So,
Yeah.
Enrique, I just want to say thank you so much for spending the time with me today on this interview,
It's a
walking
pleasure.
through your story, your auction, the legacy that you're carrying forward from your
Yeah.
dad. Um,
Yeah.
I think that's so important to
Yes.
articulate that your farm, your micro mill, the Monte Copey brand, the quality that you produce comes from a legacy of just
Yeah.
generations of work, and your dad first taking the risk to make a micro mill, and then you carrying that forward with innovative processing methods like darkroom, taking the riposado processing method that you guys accidentally discovered and putting a new spin on that. I think it's really exciting. So, congratulations on all you've been able to do.
Thank you.
The auction is, we should note, you can register for the Monte Copey auction. It is September 8th through the
8
10th.
to 10. Yeah.
8th through the 10th. So register now. This is sort of very unique in Costa Rica.
Yeah.
Private producer auction like this. I'm just excited for you. I'm excited for your story, and I'm
Yeah.
excited for
Thank you.
this
You too.
next generation of Monte Copey.
Yeah. Thank you for your time, and yeah, I invite you to the people that to be at the auction because it's really an honor, and I hope I can to see many people seeing our coffees at the auction.
Absolutely. Excellent, Enrique. Well, we will talk to you soon, and I will definitely see you September 8th for the start of the auction, 8th through 10th. And so just thank you so much again, and best of luck in preparations for your travels.